a fusion between yoga and Bothmer today, in the sense that we're also inspired by Vanda Scaravelli, and I will call this session Bothmer Inspired Yoga, or the Light Flower. So, as you can see behind me there, this is my daughter Kira, and she is with her legs on a bolster. But you can also see on the other side there that there are a few folded blankets. I don't know how well you can see that, so I'm going to come in a little bit. So there are several folded pleated blankets, and I'll show you how to get on there in a moment, but I'll let you get settled to get yourself a bolster or something next to a wall, so that you can actually follow how we get up there. You can also use a cushion, by the way, putting a cushion, a wide cushion, to the wall. So the way you come up is like this, and maybe Kira, do it with me. Just say hello to the camera for a moment.
Hello.
So you come like Kira and myself, with your knees on the edge of the mat, your feet to the wall, and then you're going to slightly lean your bum over the blankets or the bolster, so that your bum is leaning against the wall. Then you're going to take the arm that is nearer the mat away from the mat, with the elbow on the ground of the mat, so that that can slide. The other hand is going to be pushing to the mat and pushing you towards the wall. And then by pushing yourself against the wall with that top hand, you're going to slide yourself onto the mat. Now, Kira made this look really easy. It sometimes takes several goes to come up here. So just give it a go. By the way, and if you don't have a wall, you can do this in the room. If you don't have a bolster or a blanket or a pillow, you can also do this without, exactly the same way. Just make sure that your bum is near the wall or on the wall. And then once you're up here with your legs up, you can just focus on your breath, just allowing your breath to flow. And you can make sure that your arms are relaxed, just allowing your shoulders to be away from your ears, and softening your shoulders to the ground. And imagine, as you are lying there, you are like a flower, softening into earth, softening your roots, everything that is in connection to the ground, softening to earth. Whilst you become aware of every part of your body, every cell, imagining every cell to be like a flower, opening and unfolding to the light. Allowing your breath to fall, feeling the rise of the fall of the breath on the inhale, the upward energy, and feeling the downward flow as you allow your hips, your back to sink into the ground, allowing everything heavy to flow down into earth. And allowing, as you scan your body, it's okay, everything else to just open, like that opening flower, opening its petals to the sun. Feel a rising through your heels, so you lengthen through your heels, creating spaciousness in your ankles and your knees, in the joint between the thigh bone and the hips. On the out-breath, just softening down to earth. And if from here any movements arise that you feel you would like to do, then wriggle your toes, circle your ankles, maybe you want to move your knees, just listening to your body and seeing, what does my body need right now? You are your body's best teacher. You are the one who knows what it is that is needed at this point in time. So just explore, discover, or you can stay still and just feel within, feeling your breath, feeling the flow as it comes and goes, and just surrendering yourself to this moment, softening your weight, trusting your weight to the support of the earth. And then perhaps you would like to, if that feels right for you, take your legs apart. And as you take your legs apart, make sure that you are really listening to your body. So you don't have to go straight to where the sensation is really, really strong. Just go to where it's actually comfortable, listening to your breath, that your breath can still flow freely. And that might mean that you need to backtrack. Maybe you need to come in a little, maybe you need to then go out a little. Again, just feeling where is that point where it is about 5 or 6 out of 10 sensation, and then just rest into the wall from there. And if you're doing this without the wall, just do this in space. You can even, if you're doing this without the wall, bend your knees slightly, like I am doing here. And you're trying to get to those tissues on the inner thighs there and bring your inhalation into those inner thighs as if you're expanding, opening, softening that tissue. Getting acquainted, getting to know your body. And you can, whenever you like, allow that out-breath to flow like a sigh and make a sound, because that releases even more, that vibrates the cells to allow them to release even more of what has been getting stuck in your body, any tensions. So you can inhale deeply. Keep doing that. Being with your breath, just softening to the ground. And you can also, if you wish, allow your arms to stretch behind your body. Inhale, lengthening the fingertips away from you, softening your shoulders to the ground, but still keeping that connection through your hips into the ground. And you can even move your arms with your breath. So inhale, coming back. Exhale, coming down. And again, you can imagine your arms to be like that, those petals of the flower, opening in the morning, gently closing in the evening with the out-breath. A flower opening to allow more light into the core. Softening into an opening. And then you can take your arms next to you again. So you see Kira is exploring here with her body, feeling in what can my body do. That was wonderful. Take your legs back together if your legs are still out. And remember, you never need to stay in a pose as long as we stay in poses. You can come out of a pose earlier and just do whatever feels right. But equally, if you feel a pose, you're just getting going with it, you're just getting absorbed, then feel free to stay in a pose longer than we are staying in. And then come and meet us with whatever we're doing when you have finished exploring the pose you're with. Take your legs towards you and hug your legs to your body. Hug your legs behind the thighs. So take your arms through, underneath, and just hugging the legs in, letting the body relax to the ground. Scanning the body, are there any tensions? Breathing into that with that sense of the opening and softening to the ground. And then let go of the legs. Let your knees go from side to side. And at some point, when that feels right for you, you can decide to roll off your mat. Okay. So sit in any comfortable way. Ideally, you might have a blanket, a folded blanket or a block. So let me check on Kira. Yeah, her back is nice and straight, so she doesn't actually need a block. And then sit in any comfortable way. This can be Sukhasana, cross-legged pose, or half lotus or full lotus, or if that all that is uncomfortable, you can also sit in Vajrasana. Or if that is uncomfortable as well, you can of course also sit on a chair. If you're sitting on a chair, make sure that only the edge of your buttocks is on the chair, taking the sitting bones back and your feet softly planted into the ground. And then once you are sitting in a relaxed way, take the flesh away from the sitting bones. Take your sitting bones, shuffle your sitting bones slightly back so that your spine can be free. And then feel the upward and downward energy of your breath. Allowing the inhale to expand inside you. Allowing the out breath to soften to earth. Letting your shoulders relax. Letting the front of your body open with the inhale. Feel that space between the collarbones. Allow yourself to smile from collarbone to collarbone, nice and open. Hello to the world. Hello to this moment. Receiving the breath, relaxing into the breath, and with the out breath, relaxing into earth. And become aware of the space beyond your skin, and also relax that space beyond your skin. Feeling like a flower, opening to the sun, inhaling in the light, and on the out breath, softening into the roots. Make sure your chin is slightly tucked in so that the back of your neck is in alignment with your tailbone. And then the back of your head can be nice and elongated, being drawn upwards, whilst the periphery of the body stretches, relaxes to the ground. So those that are following the stream, maybe you can send me a message. I have muted it now, but maybe you can send me a message if picture and sound are arriving okay your end. So I will now tune us in with a mantra. So as you have this imagination of that flower opening within you on the inhale, that softening into the roots on the out breath, being drawn upwards, relaxing down. Om Trayambakam Jajamahi Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Orvarukamiva Bandhanat Mrityurmukshiyam Amritat. I am going to chant an Om and Shanti 3 times. Feel free to join me on Om Shanti if you wish, or just listen. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Keep your hands with the palms together or the palms to the heart, and we will focus on the roots, just softening into the roots, your root energy center, the roots that are growing deeper and wider into earth to give you stability, to give you security and nourishment. And you can trust in that nourishment that is coming to you. You are worthy of it. You're worthy to receive from earth, just for who you are. Trust into earth. Trust your body. Trust yourself. And to seal this image, we are going to make a Om sound. The sounds are Om. Again, you can join me or just listen. But know, if you are joining, that doing these sounds vibrates your cells in different areas and allows for more release. So I invite you to join if you feel drawn to do that. Inhale deeply or just think the sounds. And to continue with our analogy of the flower, you can think of the core of the flower in the space of your heart. Like Emerson said, a flower is timeless. It does not look to its neighbor, whether it is a more beautiful flower or a stronger flower. It just is in this moment in time, beautiful as it is. I am of course saying it in my own words now, but this is the gist of what Emerson said. So be that flower, just graceful in this present moment. Great gratitude for the light, gratitude for the nourishment. Just being with yourself, receiving the love of life. Receiving this love into all your cells, no matter how small. Go infinitely within you with love. And we into that. Join me or listen. Deep inhale. Then focus on your third eye, the space between your eyebrows, your connection to your inner truth, your inner teacher, your intuition. And imagine a channel going from the space between your eyebrows to the center of your head. And breathe into that center, a purple light to the center of your head. And allow it on the out-breath to connect out to the periphery, to the rest of your body, to every little cell on your skin. Allow that purple light to flow out. Softening, opening to the breath. Inhaling the center of your head, expanding out to the edge of your body, and maybe even beyond your skin. Filling a layer beyond your skin with purple, if you wish. And we shall seal that to make that strong within us with a sound. Join me if you wish. Listen within, see if there are any changes. Feel into that space. And then let your hands relax. Let your body start doing little movements. Maybe you want to unfold your legs by now. Let your feet move. Let your toes move. Feeling how your ankles and toes are feeling right now, feeling the knees. Maybe you want to move in your spine. Just listen in and see which movements is my body yearning for. How can I allow my body to best open? And then I would like you to, when you are ready, to come into movement where you have your knees bent, like this, that's right. And then just relax your body on top of your thighs, like that. Just allowing that spine to fully round around the thighs. And if you can't quite reach your thighs, take your knees closer to you. So you can take your knees higher up if that is needed. So go with your knees wherever it allows you to round your body around your thighs. And then just feel the breath of your trunk expanding against the body and let your head drop. So in our day-to-day life, we often have a round spine just because we're sitting a lot, so maybe we're hunching slightly forward. But that doesn't mean that those back muscles are necessarily supple and flexible. Um, because when we round our spine without it being supported in any way, tensions might build up in certain areas of the spine and then imbalances might occur. So when we do this and just round ourselves on top of our thighs, then we allow all the muscles in the back to expand equally. So as you inhale, receive the breath into your back, really expanding into your breath, opening into the back, and then on the out breath, relaxing more onto the thighs. If you are already feeling a stretch on the back of your thighs, you can just keep in this position. If, however, you are not feeling anything in the back of your thighs and possibly could go further forward, then just take your feet a little further forward and then relax onto there. So keep going with your body, and you might find that throughout your breathing, you will go further and further forward. If you are quite flexible, if your back is able to open, if your hamstrings are flexible, and it doesn't matter how far you come down. What matters is that you're really honest and truthful in this moment with your breath. Is my breath relaxed? Is my breath still spacious? Can I still expand in a relaxed way into my back? And if you are on a journey where your feet are coming further forward, then keep going with that. Keep relaxing down, letting your body relax onto the thighs. And maybe you even have to push into the ground slightly with your hands to bring more length around your thighs. And just allow yourself to slide according to your body's ability more and more into this. The only rule here, allowing the space within your body to relax. Actually, there are two more rules. Keeping the connection between your body and the thighs at all time, allowing your body to lengthen and relax on top of your thighs, letting your head relax, and keeping the breath spacious. So how far in can you relax? And you can imagine that you have some warm hands or a waterfall or a stream of energy coming downwards on your back, relaxing you down more, lengthening your neck more, allowing the head to relax into space, breathing deeply. And listening to all the sensations that are present, breathing into them. And then slowly, if you are ready, releasing yourself out of this pose. Again, for a moment, just take your time to listen in, see what your body feels right now, doing any movements. Yoga is not just about poses. Yoga is also about the spaces in between. So feeling what has changed, how is my body feeling now? How are my legs? How is my trunk? How is my spine? So just taking a moment to feel in. Thank you, Kiwa. That is a good idea. So, and then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to take the feet together. However, we are going to do this slightly differently today, because we're not going to take the feet too close to the body. We are going to take a little bit of a different stretch and take the feet a little further away from us. So we have like a diamond shape in between the legs. And then find somewhere where you can place your hands. Take the flesh away from the sitting bones first, in fact. And if you are sitting on a half block or a full block, make sure that the edge of your buttocks, so the edge that is between buttocks and thighs, is flush with the front of your block or your blanket, your folded blanket. And then just letting the knees drop and lengthen into the crown. Opening the front of your body. Relaxing the shoulders. And then see if you can, from here, come a little further forward into this movement. Maybe from the edge that is between the trunk and the thighs, you can fold forward. You can relax with your arms around your shins if that feels right for you. It might be that here is already your limit and that can feel spacious. So find where the pose is spacious and allowing you to open in for you. Keep drawing upwards into the crown. So see where my my dut here is today, or my ponytail. Is it called ponytail? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Half bun, half ponytail, I am informed. So wherever that is for you, there at the back of the head, where the ears meet, that is the space where you need to feel drawn. So imagine that to be like a golden thread or puppet strings, and you're being lengthened from there. How would your spine respond if you are being drawn up from there and you feel that opening, that lengthening into space? If you have a big cushion, you can also try and take that cushion in between if you can't go forward a lot. So this is one option of how you can adjust the pose to you so it can be more relaxing. And you can take your head to the side, to one side and to the other side. And Kira doesn't really need it, so for her this is quite funny to do. You can do this normal if you like. You like it, okay, okay. So it is really comfortable to do that. It's really lush. So just do your letting go into this. And if you don't have a big cushion available, actually most of us have cushions because you can just go quickly into your bedroom and get one. You can also take your folded blankets and put them there and rest on top of there. So whatever allows you, take your support from anything you have in your flat or house or in your space that can help you get that lift. If you are more flexible, you can of course just fold yourself into there. And then maybe you just need, like myself, a little pillow to put under your head if you want a little support. And then let your neck go, let your back go, let your shoulders go. And again, you can feel like a stream coming down your back. Thank you, George, for the feedback. Softening into the surface you are sat on, relaxing into the ground. You don't know what feels comfortable? Look, you can also try it with this, Kiva. You are. Hmm? Okay, well look, you can take it a little higher. So see, we are adjusting the pose for Kira right now to find her optimal height. Try that. Is that good? Yeah, just find the position, how it works for you. Okay. And then slowly find your way out of this pose. Do whatever you need to do. Listen in for a moment. And then come and join me to standing. So take one leg forward, hands onto the front thigh. In fact, as we're here already, let's just do something with this. So take a half block under your back knee. Here, Kiva. Or a folded blanket. Just to give yourself a little padding there. And then find the position where the front knee can be in a 90-degree angle whilst your hips are forward. I will show this sideways so that you can see exactly what I mean. So as I bring my hips forward, that angle in the knee does not want to be like this. You want to make sure that as you come forward, you have a nice open angle in your knees. And then you can bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just come forward and backwards. Softly planting your foot into the ground as you move forward and softly moving back. So you're hydrating the tissues in the hip joints and the knee joints, feeling how your body is moving, feel how spaciously your body is able to move. And make sure you keep a spaciousness between the shoulders and the ears, a straightness in your spine. Take that leg a little further forward, Kiwa. You don't need to go that far back. Rather, when you come to this position, take your sitting bones up. Up the other way. So that's it. So, and then you should have felt it in your hamstring. Is that right? Yeah. So that is something I often see in this movement, that people come all the way back here. That is not necessary and is probably not going to give you the stretch that we're after. So if you come to this position and take your sitting bones up, keeping your spine nice and long, then you will feel a stretch on the back of your thighs. So we're changing in our movement between a hip flexor stretch and a hamstring stretch. We're just in a quite soft, gentle way meeting those two sensations. And then stay forward. Stay with your hips forward. Lengthen the front knee away from the back knee. Shoulders away from the ears. Spaciousness between your shoulders. Soften the front foot into the ground. Keep that length in your spine by tucking your chin in and lengthening the back of your neck. In fact, Kiwa, can you come sideways like this, please? So sometimes the kneecap can be a bit painful in this one. If you have a sensation of, if you have quite sensitive kneecaps, then you can take the block or the folded blanket a little bit back so that your kneecap is actually floating in the air. So this is one possibility how you can adjust things. If you don't have a block or a folded blanket, you can also use a rolled up sock and put it just under the kneecap. And then you can feel here, Kira, how you lengthen your spine into this, feeling into the whole of your spine, spaciousness between each and every vertebrae, so those muscles on the back here can be nicely elongated. And then tucking the chin in, lengthening the back of your head upwards, softening down into the ground, and listening, looking for that spacious breath. And imagining your hip flexor here, this is the muscle we're stretching, which is actually quite a big muscle that goes to the middle of the spine here, through the pelvis, attaching on the inner thigh. And imagine that to be like an opening flower. As you breathe, allowing it to open and open and open. Softly, gently listening in, seeing your body, seeing yourself. And then take that leg back. Take the other leg forward. You can change the blocks around, adjust them to your needs, and come forward and backwards to start with. Find again that right position for your front foot, going forward and backwards. Accustom your position to your sensations. So if going so far to the front is limiting for you, in way of limiting your breath, you can take your foot a little closer. So experiment and see where it's right for you, but make sure that when the hip is at the furthest space at the front there, that you still remain with an open angle in the knee. And then move out and in. As you come forward, softening that front foot into the ground as you come forward, gently meeting the earth with openness, opening the soles of the feet to the ground. And that might mean that you might need to do some movements with your toes as you're coming forward. It's like this elongation towards the crown, a softened elongation towards the ground. Giving your toes a little spaciousness, giving your heels a little spaciousness. That is very nice. And then at some point you stay forward, keep your breath nice and deep, lengthening your crown away from you. In fact, you can again imagine that there are hands on the back of your neck, lengthening there, shoulders relaxing down to the ground, streaming down the back of your body. And keep receiving that breath with softness. And then bring that leg a little closer towards you again. Come closer. Upright your body. So come into this upright position, hands on the thighs, and come up to standing. Okay, so you can stand here for a moment in front of your mat. Kira will demonstrate this sideways, and I will demonstrate this looking towards you. So we are going to do a particular curl down. I'm going to do it like this so that you can actually see me. Make your feet hip width apart. Spread your toes on the ground and really soften your feet to the ground. Soften your knees. Soften your hips, relax your hips down. The tailbone lengthening down towards the ground. In fact, do some movements where you take your hips forward and backwards to create spaciousness in your spine. Maybe you want to go from side to side, feeling into your spine as you do this, circling one way, circling the other way, really freeing up those spaces in between the vertebrae. Imagining the vertebrae being like beads on a necklace, and the spaces in between those beads are just as important as the beads themselves. So listening in, don't just do what I tell you to do, listening in, what creates spaciousness in my spine, what creates openness in my spine. Allow your spine, each vertebrae, to be one of those flowers opening up. And then let your tailbone hang down. So imagine you have a helium balloon and you're attaching the string of that helium balloon just below the navel there. And then as you attach that helium balloon to the navel, that helium balloon is going to start rising, which, yeah, not quite. It's just a little rising of your pelvis. So it's just a little bit of a lift in your pelvis. That doesn't mean that we're going to go there. It's just the pelvis, not the upper body that is going into the back bend. So the pelvis just rising. And automatically as you do this, as you let your pelvis upright slightly, so you imagine your pelvis like a basket, and you're just opening that basket to the top so that the spine can float inside that basket freely. And as soon as you come to the right position there, automatically your belly will pull in and up. Let your arms relax, let your shoulders soften. So you're not like a soldier standing to attention, you're more relaxed, softening into space, allowing your spine to just float upwards as if it was held by a golden thread up here, and you let the rest of your body just float down from there to the earth. Give your body to gravity, elongate towards the light. The front of your body like that opening flower, opening the petals, receiving the light. The back of your body like those roots growing into earth, growing towards earth. And you even have petals on the back of your knees that are opening, that are softly opening, not overly rigid, extending, just a soft opening on the back of your knees. Your feet opening to earth. Softly extending to receive more light. And then we are going to do a curl down, and in that curl down we are going to use our hands to stream our body. So you're going to let your head become heavy to the front, lengthening the crown away from the base of the neck. And then you're going to take the palms of your hands behind your waist. And the same feeling like when you stroke a cat, you're going to, as you allow your body to curl down one vertebra at a time, stream down the back of your body as you come down. Your knees bend to receive your spine. Your knees bend to receive your spine. And then just relax over your thighs there. Let your head dangle. Movements like yes, 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 no, no, no. Slight wiggle from side to side, just relaxing there. And then take your hands, your palms to the inner arches. And then start from the base of your spine, slowly uncurling, slowly, slowly, slowly. Tuck your tailbone under. As you tuck your tailbone under, you still have that connection to the thighs. You start uncurling one vertebra at a time, streaming your hands on the front and inner thighs. Coming up the front of your body, in between the chest, to the shoulders, and then as the head comes to the uprightness, streaming up the back of your neck into space. that opening. Pelvis, that's it. And then streaming up. And we will do that same thing again. Letting your feet softly plant to earth. Taking your hands to your back. Let your head drop down. Let your head become heavy, curling down your spine one vertebra at a time, bending your knees, your thighs, welcoming your body down. And you relax your body on top of your thighs as your hands stream down the back of the heels, streaming into the ground. You let your head dangle whilst taking your hands to the inner arches. Let your head relax. And then tucking under your hips, uncurling the spine, one vertebra at a time. Streaming with your hands down the front, up the front and inside of your thighs. The upward energy, following the upward energy, coming in between the chest, to the shoulders, back of the neck, uprighting the head, lengthening up with the hands. Those petals opening, allowing in the sun. And then just stand there for a moment, feeling into that. How is your body feeling now? How are your feet? How are your knees? How are your hips? And then take your right hand and extend your right hand in front of you. Imagine you have a golden thread going from your fingertips towards that space that your fingertips are pointing at. Lengthening that hand into the space as if you were feeling whatever surface you are touching. And then floating the arms as if those strings were actually moving the hand upwards and feeling the ever-changing sensations beyond your fingertips. If your room is quite small, just adapt the movement to the room you're in and come to the side just before you reach the ceiling. Extending above you, and in your imagination you can extend beyond the walls of your rooms, you can extend to the sky, just feeling the spaciousness beyond your fingertips, touching your arms to the distance. And then take the arm, continue the movement behind your body, coming back as far as feels opening for you with your palms facing up, extending those fingertips into the space, coming to the parallel position behind you, opening there, extending into space, and then gently coming back up, and then moving the arm to the side, still feeling into the distance, into the space beyond your fingertips. Allow your fingertips to be alive with your imagination, bringing your awareness into the body and into the space. And then just stand there for a moment, comparing your right hand to your left hand, your right shoulder to your left shoulder. Just feeling the difference in the sensation in your arms. So this imagination into the fingertips and the sensations, the imagined sensations beyond the fingertips, we're going to take into the yoga poses in a moment. So now, take your left hand. We need to balance this out, don't we? I'm sure that, like me, you might have felt that one arm was slightly longer than the other, or one hand slightly bigger than the other, or just a bit more tingliness in the fingertips. Yeah. So let's take the other hand. And let that other hand, without losing the uprightness of your body, so it's not about leaning in and overextending yourself. This is in your imagination, that openness. So lengthen the left hand into the space. Kira? Feeling the space beyond your fingertips, feeling the ground as if you had an invisible string attached to your fingers that could feel the texture and temperature of the ground there. And then, as if those strings were moving your hands, let your imagination be as expansive and as vivid as possible. It's one of our senses of perception that in our day-to-day life isn't really exercised anymore. And just like any part of your body, your imagination also needs to be trained, needs to be exercised. Really come into that organ of perception there. Feeling into that space beyond your fingertips. Coming up. Feeling maybe even beyond this room that you're in, feeling towards the sky. Maybe you have a tree above your house or above your room or behind you that you're going to then feel and extend towards. Fingertips extended. And come behind your body as far as your shoulder will allow. Shoulder streaming down, relaxing down, opening into space until you are on the horizontal, the head upright, nice and elongated. And then you're going to come back up again. And just opening to the side. Like that, opening flower. Extending effortlessly the petals into the space. And come down. And take a moment again to just feel both your arms, feeling the difference. Feeling also the connection of your feet to the ground. Just being with that for a moment. Feel the sensations in your fingertips, the sensations in your hands and your shoulders, maybe the rest of your body. Okay. Now, we are going to change the setup very slightly, just so that you can see better. Kira is going to stay like she is, and I am going to, actually Kira is going to come onto this mat. So can you still see that? Take this mat a little back. There. And we're going to go into a warrior position. So Kira is going to stand facing you, and come a little back on your mat so that your arms will be visible. Okay, and take the legs apart. That's it. Take them a little further apart. So you have to adjust according to your flexibility, of course. Go into a position that is quite wide for you. But you don't need to feel a sensation on the inner thighs yet. And then make sure that your inner feet are parallel. Soften your toes into the ground. Lengthen and spread your toes into the ground. And then tuck your right foot in, like this. So your right toes come tucking in. This movement here. Coming in. And your other foot coming half out with your toes to here, half in with your heels. So the heels coming in, Kira. Heel in. That's it. And then check that your foot is pointing to the narrow edge of the mat, and that your heel, if you extended a line across, comes to the middle of the back of the foot. If that is not the case, then adjust by taking your foot slightly forward or slightly backwards. Now, make sure that your hip is nice and square. Relax your shoulders. And then we are going to open the arms to the side and imagine just like you were doing earlier, that you're opening these arms by these invisible strings, extending through those strings into space. Lengthening here, relaxing your shoulders. Imagine someone is streaming your shoulders down. Pull the belly in and up, engage the pelvic floor. And then you start engaging your pelvic floor, pulling the belly in and up, and gently bending your knee toward your middle toes. Relax those toes into the ground. Relax the toes into the ground. And keep putting your weight towards your back foot. Bending that front knee towards your middle toes. Do you need to adjust that foot again, or is it sliding? Okay, here, put that foot on there. Come on here. Okay. So if you need, and your mat is slightly like it was for Kira now, you can adjust by putting something under your feet that allows you to, so take your heel out. Kira, take the block a little closer. Do it again and come on here like this. Tuck the toes in. That's it. Spread the toes, relax the toes. Engage your pelvic floor, lift through here. Take the arms into the distance as if your hands were being held by invisible strings. Engage the pelvic floor, bend towards that knee. And then you might feel already, you were probably in there already a longer time, because we needed to adjust here, that your thighs are quite burning by now. So if you can stay just a little longer, inhale that burning sensation into your solar plexus. Breathe deeply. It's just a sensation of being human. Just take it there and then breathe out that radiance of that heat into the periphery. And then slowly come back out. Well done. Shake your legs out. Shake your arms out. Relax your hips. And then we shall do the other side. So again, same thing. First, you take your feet parallel. So take your feet parallel onto the edge of that block, like this. Make sure that your heels are on the blocks. Now, you are going to tuck your left foot in. You're going to tuck your left foot in. You're going to take your other foot half out with the toes, half in with the heels, so that your heel is facing the middle of the back foot. Then you take your arms to the side, extending them to the side with that vivid imagination of those strings holding you. And if you were held by invisible strings, then that would mean that there is no effort in the shoulders. Your arms are just effortlessly extending into space. So if I had these strings here, Kira, and I was pulling on your fingers, and I have them on both sides, what would happen? Make sure your knee is pointing towards the toes. Engage your pelvic floor. Lift the front of your body. Relax the shoulders. And if you already have heat in your thighs, let your knees point towards the toes. Let's take this up. Hold on. Come back on again, so you can relax your toes to the ground. Imagine that heat from your thighs coming up to your solar plexus there and streaming into the space. Your head is nice and long, back of the neck extended. Relaxing the shoulders, feeling that heat, radiating it out into space. Relax, enjoy the sensation, and slowly coming back out. Good work, well done. So let's go side by side now. Shake your legs out, shake your hips out. And then we're going to do one quick balancing posture, just to relax the front of the thighs, because they have worked quite hard now. So take your weight onto your right leg, softening your right knee, softening your tailbone, relaxing your shoulders, extending the back of your neck. Play with, wriggle your toes so that they can soften and extend more into the ground, the toes of the foot that has taken your weight, and then take hold of your ankle, relax the knee you're standing on, pull your belly in and up, so we're already having a core workout here, relaxing the shoulders and feel that stretch on the front of your thighs. If you are not feeling that stretch on the front of the thighs, then tuck your hip under a little more, and then you will probably feel it regardless of how flexible you are. So tucking the hip under more to feel that. Are you feeling it, Kira? And then extending into the crown. Feeling that connection through that thread will give you the ability to balance with more ease. Soften your feet. Soften your foot, the standing foot, into the ground. And if you want to, you can even here take that other arm and extend it up and give yourself a stretch there. But still remaining soft in the rest of your body. And let go of that. The other side, relaxing the arms, relaxing the hands, connecting to your left foot, really softly making the base broad, taking hold of your right foot. Keep your head as upright as you can, even whilst coming into the pose, because that will ensure that you keep your balance. If you start looking down, then your balance organ in between your ears is going to shift, which means it'll be harder for you to regain the balance. So keep your head in an upright position. Shift your hips forward until you feel the sensation in the front of your thighs there. And then remain as open as possible with your breath, extending the crown of the head into the periphery, keeping that connection also through your wrists if you have taken your arm up, softly extending upwards. Very nice. Relax your face, relax your jaws, relax your tongue, soften your eyes. And let go of that foot again. So take your feet back together. Now you can come on here again if you like, Kira. You can face sideways, I will face this way. Relax your hands to the ground. Soften your feet to the ground. And the same way we went up earlier with our fingertips extended into space, we are going to come up, extending our imagination into that space beyond the fingertips, but keep relaxing the shoulders. So imagine you have a hand that is streaming your shoulders back towards your shoulder blades. Keep the back of your neck extended. Kira is doing this beautifully. I am just doing this for demonstration purposes. Extending the back of the neck upwards as if you were connected by that invisible thread. And then you're going to come a little higher, turning your palms up so that the palms meet. And then you relax the shoulder blades down. So relaxing the shoulders down here so that you have more width in your shoulders. And then turning one arm forward, one arm back with the palms facing up like a flower opening towards the sun, keeping the head nice and long and the gaze forward. Coming back together, shoulders wide, come to the other side, opening that flower. Really enjoy every moment of that opening. Be like earth. How slow does earth meet? How slow do the flowers open to receive the sun, to receive the light? Open back out, turn the palms, and come back down. I guess to be really in sync with this analogy of the flower, we need to now come into a tree, but we shall relax our arms first before we do any of that. So I would like you to find your wall again. So come to the wall and take one arm behind you. In fact, move away from the wall enough so that you can stretch that arm on shoulder level behind you with your palm facing the wall. Bring your feet together so you can be upright on top of your feet. They can be hip width apart or closer. Come a little closer because you're kind of... And make sure that your spine is nicely aligned on top of your knees. And then turn your body away from the wall enough so that you can feel a stretch in your arms and perhaps in the front of the shoulders. Are you feeling that, Kira? Relax the shoulders down. Imagine again streaming as if somebody had their hands and streaming that shoulder down. Keep that imagination vivid, that you keep opening that shoulder back. Even if nobody is there to do it, just feel that sensation like a warm waterfall flowing down on the back. Then walk yourself a little closer to the wall, keeping that arm at the back, and take the foot nearer the wall a little further forward. And then turn away from there. So that gets a little bit of a different area of that stretch, and here you can experiment a little, breathing into that space in your shoulders. Maybe you need to take the arm a little further down, maybe that feels better. So experiment, find the muscle fibers that make you breathe a sigh of relief. A sigh of release. Soften your forehead, soften your jaws, soften your gaze. And then do the same to the other side. So this is opening the heart space stretches. So first, a little bit away from the wall, with the feet softly planted into the ground, knees relaxed, palms softening towards the wall, and then turning yourself away from there and feeling that stretch. You might feel it in your biceps, you might also feel it a bit more in the shoulders. Make sure you relax the shoulders down, breathe deeply, and think of that opening, that soft, gentle opening, softening into your body. Scan the rest of your body if you're holding any tensions in compensation. And then walk a little closer to the wall. Take the nearer foot forward so you're standing with your feet apart. And then turn yourself. Twist your body away from there and see how the stretch has changed. And you can perhaps adjust a little by taking the hand a little lower, seeing how that changes sensation. If you take it a little lower, you might feel it a little more in your shoulders. Is that right, Kira? Soften your head to look away. That's it. And then gently coming away from the wall. And it is now time for our tree pose. Now that we have created more spaciousness in the shoulders. So soften with your feet into the ground. Softening your toes. Softening your hips. Relaxing the hips, relaxing that tailbone down. Imagine that helium balloon. Allowing your pelvis to upright. Pulling the belly in and up. When the core is firm, then the balancing poses are much easier. Relaxing your shoulders down, bringing your whole weight onto your right foot. Softening, broadening the base through your feet. Tuck the chin in, lengthen the back of the neck a little higher. Relax your arms for now. Shift your head slightly backwards, that's it, so that the back of your neck is aligned with your tailbone. So it's this kind of movement you're doing, lengthening up. And then let that foot take more and more of your weight, whilst the knees remain soft. Feel a golden string on the top of your head holding you up. And then you slowly take one foot sideways, take it quite low to start with, just to feel that opening of the knee outwards and feel that pelvis opening here. Keep your balance by softening the roots into the ground. Keep the belly pulled in and up to firm your core. And then if that feels right for you, you can take your leg up as high as is comfortable for you, knee pointing away from you so that you can have this opening here. Make sure that your pelvis remains aligned. Then take your arms to the side, softening your fingertips again into space. Keep your head upright. If your balance organ remains balanced without moving off the head, then you're going to be able to balance with much more ease. Imagine you have surfaces beside you that you're resting your fingertips on, and those strings beyond your fingertips holding you. If you wish, and if your balance is firmly established, take your hands in front of you, opening your heart, opening your core, lifting the front of your body, relaxing the back of your body, softening into earth. And if you feel drawn to do that, extend your fingertips up, keeping your shoulders broad, keeping your shoulder blades down, flowing downwards, extending your elbows into the space, relaxing your fingers, spaciousness in your fingers. Feel connection through your fingertips. Elbows extended, shoulders wide. And then to come out, if you wish to stay longer, of course you can. You open, allowing the light in, turn, gracefully put that foot back down to the ground. For a moment, feel the difference between the right leg and left leg. Feel what has changed in your hips. Feel your shoulders. And then slowly and gradually take the weight onto the other leg. Broad, soften your foot on the surface. Pelvis upright. Pull the belly in and up, relax the shoulders down. Feel that string on the top back of the head. Take the foot inwards first, knee out, hips square. Just establish your balance with that knee sideways position, and then see if you can gradually slide your knee up. You can already put your hands into the space there, resting on invisible objects, fingertips extending to the periphery without strain. It's just soft relaxation, as if there were those strings on each one of your fingers, very softly extending into the space. Your jaws are soft, your forehead relaxed, your eyes soft. If you wish, you can take your hands to your heart. Relax, broad the shoulders, stream them down again. If you wish, taking the arms up, elbows extending, fingertips lengthened by that string, but the shoulders softening to earth. Check your toes again. Are my toes relaxed or are my toes gripping? How about the heel? Is the heel nice and broad and soft to the ground? Is my solar plexus drawn upwards? Draw the solar plexus upwards. Stream the shoulders down. With your breath, inhale with the rising energy, drawing the solar plexus up, lengthening the belly muscles, shoulders, relaxing down on the out-breath, softening to earth. Open, turn, gracefully coming down with the foot. Shake out. Give yourself a nice little shake. Shake the shoulders, shake the elbows, shake the hands. And then come back onto your mat. And lie on your back for a moment with your head on a half block. Extend your legs out. And just feel into the connection of your back to the ground for a moment, the palms facing up, the shoulders giving spaciousness between you and your ears, the toes coming out, and just give the weight of your body fully to earth. If that is at all uncomfortable for your lower back, you can take a bolster underneath your knees to make sure that your back can relax better into the ground. But just feel into this for a moment. And then bend your knees. Soften your feet into the ground. Let your hips relax more into the ground. Take your arms a little higher so that the elbow can be just above the shoulders and the palms facing up. And then soften your shoulders into the ground. Lift your hips. Just very slightly, lift your hips and shift your hips to your right. And then put the hips back down again. Keep putting your shoulders to earth. Keep softening your shoulders to earth. Then lift the legs so that you have a 90-degree angle in your knees, a 90-degree angle in your hips. Pull your belly in and up. Pull your navel towards your spine. And then let your knees come down towards the ground and stop about 1 centimeter above the ground. Hold that there. Keep softening the opposite shoulder towards the ground. Breathe deeply. Allow the sensation. So this is core muscle work. Breathe deeply. If your shoulder is coming off the ground like it is happening for Kira here, you can put a blanket underneath the shoulders. Just rest. That's it. And then when your abdominals have had enough, you just relax your knees to the ground and feel that twist. And perhaps it might feel nice for you to take your head from side to side there. Just bringing some openness to your neck area. Breathing into that opposite shoulder. Imagine that that shoulder is being streamed down, and we can probably take this away now. That's it. If that is not giving you any sensations at this stage, then you can make it a little harder by taking your top leg around the bottom leg. So folding that underneath. Is that good, Kira, for you? And then again, you might need to support your shoulder again. But you can adjust according to what your need is here. So keep softening into that opposite shoulder. And then allow your breath to flow. if you find that once you have folded your legs like Kira is doing here, that is actually uncomfortable, there is no harm in backtracking and taking it like this again, if that allows you to open more into it. And then you can imagine a stream coming down your back to allow that back to open more into it. Just giving your weight to gravity. Seeing, checking in, where am I holding on? And allowing those areas where there might be some holding on to soften. And if at some point that feels right for you, then you can allow your head to settle, looking the opposite way. And then all good things have to end. I wish I could stay here now. I might do it after class. You're going to slowly prepare yourself to come back out again. Enjoy the coming out of the pose. Settle your hips again into the space so that your spine is nice and straight and your hips are aligned with your shoulders. Just feeling and resting your weight to the ground before you take your hips to the other side. So your hips always go to the opposite of where your knees are going to come down. So your hips coming to the left, if you were doing to the right earlier, then your knees are going to come up, pulling the belly in and up to prepare for this abdominal work that we're just about to do, and then bring your knees down as far as they can go, that the shoulders are still off the ground. So see where that is for you. The shoulders remain on the ground. Keep your head in one line for the moment and just work your belly muscles. Pull the belly in and up. Keep breathing. Can you feel your belly working? Good. That is real core work there. That is really hard work if you do it right. So pulling the belly in and up as much as you can, really bringing that navel towards the spine. If it is too much for you already and you can already not withhold the burning any longer, you can rest the knees towards the ground. Do we need to support that shoulder for you? It's more open on this side. Yeah. So that might be the case for you in whichever way round. Don't think that because something was one way on one side that it's going to be the same on this side. So listen to your body. It might be that on this side you need to support your shoulder and put something underneath, even though on the other side you didn't need that. Or maybe this time you don't need support, but you did on your other side. So listen and see what it is, how your body is responding. And that doesn't just apply between the right and the left, that applies between today's practice and the practice you had 2 hours ago or 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago. It might be that your body is different from day to day. So really listen and be present and see what has changed, what is new today. Don't be afraid to backtrack a little. Allow your body to respond, allow your body to communicate to you. Be present with what is happening every moment with your breath. And if you want to make this more intense, then you can take the top leg and fold it around the bottom leg. You don't have to do this, Kira. Just see what you need. And then just resting, softening your shoulder to the ground, feeling that downward stream on your back. Maybe even a downward stream coming from your shoulder down your arm. And breathe that breath of opening to earth, softening to earth. If you feel any areas where your body is holding on, where there is some tightness, breathe into that tightness. Expand your in-breath into that tightness, visualizing these opening flowers. Maybe you can even visualize opening smiley flowers that smile at the sun, that smile at the light streaming in. And perhaps your head wants to go from right to left. Perhaps you were doing that already. If you were doing that already, maybe your gaze by now is going over your opposite shoulder, scanning your whole physical body for any tensions, even becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings, listening into those. What is arising for you? Be present with it. Stay with your present sensation, respond to it through your breath. And then slowly coming back out. Shift your hips back into alignment, stretch your legs out and see what has changed for you for a moment. Remember, if you need to stay in a pose any longer, be with that. See what has changed, checking your right side, your left side, right side of the back, left side of the back. And then we're going to do something for opening the heart space and relaxing the shoulder space. So if you have the blanket, you can either use a rolled up blanket like this, or if you have it, pranayama cushions, so a very long, thin bolster like this, or anything thin and long. You can even roll up a big towel and do this. If that makes it too thin, you can put 2 towels on top of each other and roll them up. I am going to show already on Kira how we are going to do this. The blanket needs to be folded quite tightly, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. So come up for a moment. And we're going to put this blanket, actually turn yourself around, Kira, so we can show this better. The blanket needs to be aligned with the space just below the shoulders here. So turn yourself around on the mat. Like this. That's the space just below your armpits. And Kira is going to roll herself down to the ground on top of that blanket. It might be quite intense to begin with. The blanket actually needs to come a little lower here, Kira. That's it. There. And then just rest your arms to the side on top of that blanket. Relax your shoulders to the ground and try and soften yourself into that blanket, into that sensation that is there right now. Kira has folded her legs into Sukhasana, easy pose. That is quite nice to do, but you can also, to make it more comfortable for you, just to show them, bend your knees, soften your feet into the ground, If your back can take it, if your back is quite strong, you can also stretch your legs out on the ground, or you can take the soles of your feet together and let your knees drop outwards. So see whatever feels nice for you and do that. What is important is that your lower spine actually is able to breathe itself towards the ground there. Now I'm going to show you how to fold up a blanket. So you're going to fold up the blanket until it is about this size here. As you see, that is about double the width of my body. And then you're going to just roll the blanket as tightly as you possibly can. Maybe you need to take away some creases as you're doing this. So rolling, 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 rolling. And if you are already on your blankets because you had a pre-prepared rolled blanket, then breathing into that fold, breathing into that roll, softening your muscles into that sensation, expanding your chest into that sensation. So softening your chest down, expanding that area between your shoulder blades towards the resistance, sorry Kira, of your bolster, and just softening the shoulders down, feeling that openness in the front of the heart, letting the rest of your spine sink towards the ground. And keep softening, softening into that sensation. Breathing, inhaling, expanding. Relaxing the body with your out-breath towards the ground. As you breathe out, really bringing the navel in towards the spine, emptying your lungs of the breath completely to receive that new fresh in-breath with each and every lobe of your lungs. Expanding and letting go. So if this feels really nice for you, you can stay like this for a bit longer. For everyone else who has had enough of this, you can shift this around and bring it onto your pelvis, so the back of your pelvis, not behind your waist, between your waist and your the edge of your thighs. So if you have had the blanket here, you can come on, take the blanket out, come onto your back, lift the hips and place it just between the waist and the edge of the buttocks on that bony part on the back of your hips. And just rest that on the bolster for a moment. You can keep your legs bent there for this one. Shoulders away from the ears, feet softening into the ground, and just giving your weight to that resistance of that bolster. No, that's too high, Kira. So that's behind your waist. It needs to come to that level. A little lower. That's it. That's better. So Kira had put it behind her waist. If you put it behind your waist, you're actually exacerbating or exaggerating a curve that is already there, which might not feel so good in the long run, even though in that moment it might feel good. Make sure it is between your waist and the sitting bones. And then relax that resistance into the ground. So Kira has stretched out her legs here. You just keep breathing your ribs to the ground, keep breathing your navel to the ground, keep softening your hips into that resisting bolster, relaxing the shoulders away from your ears. You can bring your hands a little lower, your palms facing up, and just soften that area to the ground. Inhaling, receiving that breath into your whole body, receiving that breath with all your cells. Exhale, letting go into earth. Softening into the ground. And this is going to be our last pose for the day. So when you feel ready to come into relaxation pose, please transition in your own time to transition into relaxation pose. You're going to roll onto your side, shift yourself off the bolster. If you're still feeling quite relaxed here and really getting a lot of benefit out of this, stay in here for as long as feels right for you. To transition to relaxation pose, you're either going to take the folded blanket as a support for the back of the head or a half block. So lie on your back, Kira, thank you. Once you are lying on your back, bring spaciousness between the back of your neck and the shoulders, lengthening the back of your neck, shoulders nice and open. Stretching the legs, shaking one leg at a time, shaking it out, letting the toes drop out to the side. And you can choose if you would rather have your hands on your belly to feel the movements of your breath, or if you can, let the arms come out to the side, palms facing up, shoulders spacious. Maybe you can even tuck your shoulders slightly under, relax, to bring more openness to the front of your chest, to bring more openness in for the lungs. And then just trust your body to earth. If you have an eye cushion, this would be the time to put an eye cushion on top of your eyes. And just for a moment, feel your breath. Becoming aware of the 4 phases of your breath. Without having to change anything at all for the moment, just becoming aware how the breath flows in. How the breath, the out breath, relaxes back down to earth. Welcomingly receiving the in-breath, feeling the fullness after the inhale, relaxing into the out breath. Becoming aware of the 4 phases of the breath. Deep, expansive inhale. Fullness after the inhale. Relaxing out breath. The emptiness after the out breath. Just being with those 4 phases. Feeling the expansiveness, spaciousness of your inhale. Feeling the release to earth of your out breath. And liken the 4 phases of your breath to a flower. So as you inhale, as you receive that breath, a flower starting to open from bud. As the petals are fully open, that is the stillness after the inhale, like summer. On the out breath, the petals flowing off, releasing down into the ground. The emptiness after the out breath. Where the core of the flower, bare, honest, being. And with every inhale, a new bud arises out of the previous core. New, unique. It can be the same flower, it can be a different flower. And you just feel one flower opening out of the previous one. Every inhale, you feel those opening petals expanding your whole body, that flower. As you breathe out, those petals falling to the ground, releasing anything you no longer need. Just being. And you can give those flowers different colors. You can go along the rainbow. A red flower, then an orange flower coming out of the red flower. Receiving that inhale with every cell, with every molecule, with every atom. The cells welcoming the light, opening to it, feeling that fullness, that gratitude in the openness. Letting go of that petals, letting go, allowing your body to let go of anything it no longer needs, anything that has served its purpose. Maybe it never even had a purpose, it doesn't matter, just letting go. Maybe your flower has become yellow meanwhile, maybe it is already green and pink. Light blue, spacious like the sky. A spacious sky flower. And feel those flowers perhaps even getting bigger and bigger. Maybe they are bigger than your body, feeling that space beyond you unfold, open up, letting go, undoing. A purple flower, lilac purple. And then just until you get to the light flower, a luminous light flower. In the light, all the flowers, all the colors exist. It is the light being broken that creates all the color. So hold the colors together into the light, feeling one luminous flower come out of the last, opening, unfolding, expanding into space, releasing, softening to earth, letting the petals float down into earth. And then that moment of respite, that moment of stillness before the next flower starts coming with that next soft inhale. Let that inhale be truly soft, really gentle. Deep yet gentle. Soft, wide, expansive. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonat Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Know that these flowers of peace, these flowers of luminous beauty, are always inside you, are always there for you to connect to with your breath. So you can come back to that visualization whenever you need, whatever you're doing in life. Just take a moment to take a breath within. Now bend your legs, bring your feet to the ground, soften your feet to earth, let your knees go from side to side. Do any wriggles with your body as you do so. Maybe you want to wriggle your toes, maybe you want to bring some extra movement to your ankles. And then at some point, rolling your body sideways onto one side and just laying on your side for a moment, allowing the cushion to fall off your head, fall off your face. And just lay on your side there for a moment. Giving your weight fully to the support of the earth. And then slowly rolling to the other side. Giving your weight fully to that side. Trusting yourself to earth. Allowing a little bit of light into your eyes. Pushing yourself off the ground into a seated position. Find any seated position that is comfortable for you. Of course, you can do this on a chair if you need to. Take the flesh away from the sitting bones, palms facing up, opening the shoulders, streaming down the back to earth. Take your hands to your heart, focusing on the crown, feeling a funnel of light or that luminous flower at the top, breathing into that. Your connection to inspiration, to limitless opportunities, to the infiniteness of space. And we om into that. Deep inhale. And then feeling a flow downwards into earth through your roots. Softening your roots, visualizing them burrowing themselves into earth, feeling rooted, feeling supported. And we will do 2 ohms into earth, maintaining that connection to the light from above. Deep inhale. In your own time, one more. Take your hands to the forehead in gratitude to yourself, your inner teacher, to earth in any ritual that feels right for you. Back to the heart. Namaste.